Welcome you all. So in this lecture, I will explain about the centrifugal pumps. So coming to the heads, the different heads in a centrifugal pump. So there are three heads here. That is the static suction lift, the static discharge head, and total static head. So here static suction lift or suction head is measured from the level of the water in a lower sump to the axis of the impeller. So next, the static discharge head is measured from the axis of the impeller to the level of the water in a overhead tank, and this the summation of these two, that means static suction lift and static discharge head, is called as total static head. That means the total static head is the distance measured from the level of water in a lower head tank to the level of water in a overhead tank. So these three terms or head terms related to the centrifugal pumps. So in this case, so here the pump is placed at certain height from the axis of the impeller. And see the arrangement of these heads: the static suction head, the static discharge head, and the total static head. So here the total static head is measured. That is the difference of static discharge head and static suction head. So next, cavitation, and this figure shows about the effects of the cavitation or that surface, the indicated surface that shows the erosion of the blade there, and one more image figure that shows the erosion of the blade's surface. So cavitation means the cavitation occurs on the suction side of the pump as the lowest pressure exists just below the pump on suction side. That means it's the suction side, the pressure is lesser than the atmospheric pressure. The suction side, the pressure is lesser than the atmospheric pressure, or commonly it's called as vacuum pressure. So due to height of installation of above the sump, the pressure on the suction side is below the atmospheric value. The bubble formation occur at the inlet, and then it will pass to the runner. So these formed bubbles moves at very high velocity to the more pressure side of the impeller blade and strike the surface of the blade and collapse there. So this causes erosion and pitting, and that causes forming of cavities on the surface of the blades. So this damages on centrifugal pump is called as cavitation. Next, what are the effects of the cavitation? The metallic surfaces are damaged and cavities are formed on the impeller surface. Noise and vibration are produced due to the sudden collapse of vapor bubble. Efficiency of the machine reduces, head and discharge decrease. So these are the effects of the cavitation. Next, what do you mean by priming? The priming is the process of removing the air present in the suction pipe and impeller casing. To remove the air from the suction pipe, casing of the pump and of the delivery pipe are completely filled with the water before starting the pump. So that is called as the priming operation. Next, multi-stage pumps. The head imparted or developed by a centrifugal pump is proportional to the diameter and speed of the impeller. But however, there is a limitation for the diameter and speed of the impeller. Therefore, maximum head developed with a single impeller up to 50 meter. For more head and discharge, a multi-stage pump is preferred. If the centrifugal pump consists of two or more impellers, then the pump is called as multi-stage pump. So in that multi-stage pump, there are two types, either pumps are connected in series manner or pumps are connected in parallel. The pumps in series. To develop high head, in order to develop high head, impellers should be connected in series on the same shaft. The liquid leaves the suction pipe, enters the first impeller at inlet and is discharged at outlet with increased pressure. The liquid leaving from the first impeller enters the second impeller. The pressure of the liquid leaving from the second impeller is more than the pressure of the liquid leaving from the first stage. So in case if you want to achieve more head, so at that time pumps are connected in series manner. So now the total head developed is equals to the number of pumps are used into the manometric head imparted by the single pump. The pumps in parallel. To develop high discharge, the pumps should be connected in parallel. The liquid leaving each pump is discharged into a common pipe. Each pump is dipped in the same sum. In this case, the discharge obtained is more against the same head. That means, so in case if you want to more discharge or more capacity from the pump, so at that time pumps are connected in parallel. So that means here the total discharge is equals to N2. N2 means number of pumps used into discharge taking place from a single pump. Net positive suction head, commonly called as NPSH. NPSH is the head required at the pump inlet to keep out the water from the cavitation or boiling. The cavitation is likely to occur on the suction side of the pumps as the lowest pressure can exist in this region. It is defined as the NPSH is equals to P of S by rho g plus V of S square by 2g minus P of vapor by rho g. So where V of S is the velocity of the water in suction side, P of S is the pressure at the inlet, P of vapor is the vapor pressure in absolute units. So NPSH indicates the height of the pump axis from the water surface in a sum to which it can be installed to avoid cavitation problem. So this figure shows construction of centrifugal pump and the veinless diffuser and volute casing. And also it shows the direction of the fluid flow. So here the fluid entry will taking place at the high section of the impeller, then flows along the surface of the impeller blades. They exited at the outer circumference of the impeller blades. So then it is flowing through the veinless diffuser region. From there the fluid is applied at higher pressure and delivered through the volute casing, and finally it is get discharged at the discharge pipe or the discharge end. Next, efficiencies of pump. The first one is a manometric efficiency denoted by neta manometric. So it is the ratio of the manometric head to the head imparted by the impeller to the fluid. So that means the manometric efficiency is equals to H of M. This is a manometric head into G VU2 by VU2 into U2. So actually here power delivered by the pump is equals to head created by the pump. There is a manometric head created by the pump, and power imparted by the impeller is equals to VU2 into U2 by G. So then that G from the denominator is taken in numerator. At that time it is H of M, that is a manometric head into G by VU2 into U2. So then here it's also termed as manometric head to the ratio of HM, manometric head plus H of L. The H of L is equals to head loss due to friction or some other circumstances. The second one is mechanical efficiency denoted by neta M. It is the ratio of power actually delivered by the impeller to the power supplied at the shaft. The power supplied at the shaft, that is VU2 into U2 plus mechanical losses. This is also called as what? The frictional losses, and mechanical energy supplied to the rotor is given by U2 into VU2. Hydraulic efficiency is the ratio of useful energy in the fluid to the mechanical energy supplied to rotor. Volumetric efficiency, this is the amount of water delivered by the delivery pipe to the actual amount of water entering the impeller through the suction pipe. So due to leakages, all the water sucked into the impeller does not pass through the delivery pipe. So it is also the ratio of actual discharge to the theoretical discharge. Next, overall efficiency, it is the ratio of hydraulic energy output by the pump to the shaft power to the pump. It is also ratio of water power to the shaft power. The volumetric efficiency is also calculated a product of manometric efficiency into mechanical efficiency. So these are the information related to the centrifugal pump. Thank you.